Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old matriarch of a prominent family, vanished suddenly from her Tucson home, leaving friends, neighbors, and the nation stunned. Known as a devoted mother and grandmother, Nancy's disappearance initially seemed like a simple case of a missing senior. However, beneath the surface lay decades of secrets that even her closest family members never suspected. A mysterious package arriving days after her disappearance triggered revelations that would upend everything her children thought they knew about their mother. What emerged was a life lived in parallel, a dual existence that explained the gaps and silences in her otherwise exemplary life. A pillar of strength in Tucson. After the death of her husband Charles in 1989, Nancy, then 47, became the anchor for her 3 teenagers in Tucson, Arizona. Widowed suddenly, she shouldered the responsibility of maintaining her family's stability. Friends recall her as tireless, managing a modest ranch-style home in the Catalina foothills while working part-time as a bookkeeper and volunteering at her church. She baked, organized family events, and guided her children with patience and humor. Savannah, her eldest, often spoke publicly about the resilience Nancy modeled. On the surface, she was a perfect widow, a steadfast mother whose life revolved entirely around her family, leaving no room for scandal, or so it seemed. The envelope that changed everything. The first hint of a hidden life came not from confrontation, but from an unmarked envelope delivered to Savannah's New York apartment on February 6, 2026, 5 days after Nancy's disappearance. Inside was a faded photograph of a young Nancy with a man unknown to the family, standing outside a small cafe in Santa Fe, New Mexico. On the back, in unfamiliar handwriting, a cryptic message: "Ask about Elena." The photo was dated 1992, 3 years after Charles's death. Savannah shared it with her siblings, Annie and Cam, prompting more questions than answers, as none of them recognized the man or knew who Elena was, unlocking a hidden chapter of Nancy's life. A chance encounter in Santa Fe. Nancy's double life began during a rare solo trip to Santa Fe in 1991, still grieving her husband. There, she met Victor Ramirez, a 45-year-old artist and gallery owner from Mexico City who had settled in New Mexico after fleeing political unrest. Victor's free-spirited and artistic nature was a stark contrast to the structured life Nancy had in Tucson. Both had endured personal loss. Victor's wife had died in a car accident years prior. Their weekend friendship gradually deepened into a clandestine romance, one Nancy kept secret from her children, fearing it would disrupt the stability she worked so hard to maintain in Tucson. Building a second life. Upon returning to Tucson, Nancy buried her feelings and threw herself into raising her children. Yet, she began taking periodic weekend trips to Santa Fe, telling her kids she was attending retreats or visiting friends. In reality, she was living a second life with Victor. He nicknamed her Elena, after a character in a Mexican novel they both adored, symbolizing the freedom she couldn't express in Tucson. Over time, she became an integral part of Victor's gallery, helping organize exhibits and even producing her own paintings. The dual identity allowed her to explore her suppressed creativity while maintaining her family's perception of her as a steadfast widow. Financial footprints of a hidden life. By 1995, as Savannah launched her journalism career, Nancy's secret life deepened. She opened a small bank account in Santa Fe under the alias Elena Ramirez, funneling modest amounts from her bookkeeping work in Tucson to support Victor's gallery. The financial contributions were minimal but significant, granting her a tangible stake in this alternate reality. In Santa Fe, Nancy was welcomed into an artistic and intellectual community, experiencing a freedom she had never known in Tucson. Here, Elena could be adventurous, flirtatious, and open with emotions, a stark contrast to the composed and dutiful mother her children knew. The double life intensifies. As the 2000s approached, Nancy's responsibilities shifted. With Savannah moving to Washington, D.C., and her younger children starting their own lives, she had more freedom to spend longer stretches in Santa Fe. She claimed to be taking health retreats, while in reality she immersed herself in Elena's world, managing gallery events and curating shows. Locals knew her as Victor's quiet, elegant partner, unaware of her Tucson identity. Meanwhile, Nancy maintained appearances in Tucson, attending church events, potlucks, and family gatherings. The compartmentalization required constant vigilance, as any misstep could expose decades of hidden activity to her unsuspecting family. Cracks begin to show. By the 2000s, Nancy's health and chronic pain started causing disruptions. Victor urged her to reveal her secret, but Nancy feared shattering her children's perception of her as the unflappable widow. Arguments grew more frequent, especially as she struggled with anxiety and heart issues during her trips. Her secret life required burner phones, encrypted communications, and careful management of finances and correspondence. Love letters exchanged over decades, hidden in a safe behind Victor's paintings, documented the depth of their relationship. The emotional toll was evident, though Nancy believed her children's stability justified the deception. Pandemic pressures. The COVID-19 pandemic forced Nancy to remain in Tucson for extended periods, intensifying her sense of division. She confided to Victor using encrypted messaging, expressing feelings of being split between two lives. Post-pandemic, her visits resumed but were shorter, her distraction noticeable. From January 15th to 20th, 2026, she visited Santa Fe for the last time, reporting feeling watched in Tucson. Victor initially attributed it to paranoia, but the FBI now believes these fears were valid. The double life, once a source of freedom, had become a liability, exposing her to risk from someone who discovered her secret. Clues of blackmail. Investigators examining Nancy's finances found irregular transfers between Tucson and Santa Fe accounts, including a December 2025 wire of $5,000 to an unknown account in Mexico. While Victor claimed ignorance, authorities suspect potential blackmail. Someone may have uncovered Nancy's secret identity and targeted her, possibly searching for the letters and photos hidden under her bed, now missing. The theft of these items, which proved her dual existence, suggests a personal motive behind her disappearance, raising questions about whether she was abducted or forced into hiding. Family shock and public reaction. On February 9th, the FBI shared Victor's full statement with the family, revealing decades of hidden correspondence and the depth of Nancy's parallel life. Savannah, known for her composure, broke down, whispering that her mother had a whole other family and wondering why she kept such a secret. The revelation challenged fans' perception of Nancy as a perfect mother and widow. Social media erupted with theories about hidden lovers, blackmail, or a jealous rival. While the family sought privacy, Victor's gallery became a pilgrimage site, with locals recalling Elena's kindness and contributions to the Santa Fe art scene. Investigation moves forward. Authorities are tracing the Mexico wire, interviewing Santa Fe associates, and canvassing Tucson neighborhoods for sightings of Elena. Tips suggest a mystery man was seen near Nancy's home weeks before her disappearance. Agents believe her double life may have motivated her abduction, with the personal and financial aspects intertwined. The investigation continues to explore whether someone close to her discovered the secret or if she attempted to flee her dual identities voluntarily. The clues point to a carefully hidden life now exposed, revealing both the freedom and danger Nancy had navigated for decades. The legacy of Elena Nancy Guthrie's story is one of quiet rebellion against widowhood and societal expectations. Tucson Nancy was devoted and composed, while Santa Fe Elena expressed creativity, passion, and independence. For over 30 years, she balanced these lives with extraordinary skill, yet the cost was high: stress, anxiety, and health strains. The vanishing now appears deeply personal, driven by secrets someone uncovered. Her children must reconcile their image of a perfect mother with a woman who lived fully beyond their knowledge. Nancy's life, layered and complex, reminds us that even the most stable lives can hide astonishing truths. Conclusion: unraveling a hidden world. Nancy's disappearance has exposed a remarkable story of love, art, secrecy, and the cost of dual identities. From a grieving widow in Tucson to the vibrant Elena in Santa Fe, she managed decades of parallel existence with courage and discretion. The ongoing investigation seeks answers about the forces behind her disappearance, from blackmail to possible abduction. While the world absorbs this new reality, the legacy of Elena endures, in paintings, letters, and memories of a woman who lived fully in ways her family never imagined. Nancy Guthrie's story is far from ordinary. It is the testament of a hidden life revealed.